What's up, everybody? Welcome to We Are One, You Are Two, a PlayStation and video game podcast. Guess what? No indie interview for you this week. My name
Oh, what?
is, I know, right? I'm your host, Rob Fanzo. That is my name. I'm joined once again by my co-host, as always, Mr. Rocket League himself, Matt Rhodes. How you
Hey-o.
doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. I'm recovering from being sick during all of E3, so
Aw.
you know, I caught it from my wife. She got sick on the weekend, and then I got sick over the week. So here we are.
Yep.
But we are back, and this is we're going to talk about two big things today, Matt. This is kind of a special episode where we're really going to talk about a lot of stuff just regarding E3 and our reactions to some of the stuff that we're excited about. We're also going to talk about the big thing that I think is on everybody's mind right now, and that's Sony's playing dodgeball with the Fortnite issue.
Ooh,
And if you
yeah.
don't know what that is, we'll talk about that here in a bit. I thought what we could do is tally up our E3 scores first, do a little bit of talking about that, and then move into the Fortnite topic. But first, I always like to talk about what we're playing.
Ooh, yeah.
So why don't we start there? Because I literally just turned off my PlayStation 4 from playing Neo.
Oh, Neo. Why
Yep,
would you
I got
play that, Rob?
completely.
Is it maybe because they announced Neo 2?
It might be why. That might be why. I don't know.
A
That
little
might also be why I
subconscious.
finished. That might also be why I finished Resident Evil Biohazard the other day too. Was
Oh,
because
yeah.
that Resident Evil 2 announcement got me back into Resident Evil 7. So,
Surprise, surprise.
yep.
I've been playing some Rocket League. No surprise there. They got the summer event going on, so I gotta get I gotta collect all my shells to get all the goodies. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Then I got some. I don't think I played God of War this week. I did not. I should have. I should have just finished it, but I did, however, finish Detroit Become Human, which we talked about a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future we'll do a completely spoiler edition of Detroit Become Human, where we just talk about everything that happened and like what we did and our different experiences, because they were pretty different, I'd say. Like for how much we talked about it, we had very different experiences.
Yeah, we had hugely different experiences, and so I would love to talk about that, and maybe we can talk about some of the characters and things like that as well. Maybe by then you can finish God of War, and we can talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah, finally.
And then maybe I'll finish. I'm actually working on a new series, and I guess this falls under the before I forget. If we can just blend seamlessly into that,
Ooh, fancy.
I decided to come up with a new series. And it's going to take a while for me to produce and work on a little bit. But if you are listening to this and you really want to help me with this series, it's something I don't think I can do without a little bit of help financially. But I'm going to call it alternate ending, and it's going to be an analysis of game choices and why certain game companies or certain game mechanics push you in certain directions. Because I had to make a choice between two characters towards the end of Resident Evil 7. And one of them made total sense because that's what the whole game is about. And then the other one, I was kind of like, I don't know why I would help this character. But I ended up doing it anyway, just to go against probably what I figured was the norm. And then I read a lot online afterwards about people griping about why is this choice even in the game. And so that's actually going to be the first episode, I think, of that series, is where I'm going to explore why the game drives you to make, because it's supposed to be, this really dramatic, tragic choice that you're supposed to be like, oh, I really have a hard time. Do I save this one or do I save this one? What do I do here? What do I do there? But I really it's kind of like Detroit Become Human. Certain ones I was kind of like, why would I pick that choice? Why would I do that at all? And so I want to kind of examine from a back end side, maybe try to think like a developer and go, why would they put that in me in that position in the first place? So I'm going to be working on that.
Well, that sounds pretty interesting. I would say the quick answer is you're a good person and not a terrible person. And there's terrible people out there that be like, oh, well, this is an obvious choice, but it's the opposite choice that you would make. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's the choice, but at the
You're just
same
like,
time too.
oh, dumb choice. I would make this every 10 out of 10. This is the choice I would make, and it's the different one.
And I do wonder that, but at the same time too, I obviously made the lesser of the two choices there, because I looked at the trophy list afterwards and it was clearly favorited towards the other character, and I was like, well, that's the one you're
Sure.
supposed to make.
Right.
And I went against the grain on purpose. But after I did that, I realized that there was reasons set up ahead of time that I think a lot of people didn't see, and so that's where this is gonna kind of dive into that, and I'm gonna do other games as well, people's suggestions, but I'm only gonna take Patreon suggestions, and so, if you head over to Patreon and donate anything, I will certainly, do that, and that would also help me produce that series too. Alright, Matt, let's just jump straight into it. Let's talk about our 2 topics today.
Ooh, yeah.
So these are our, I guess, what we call our talk or our topic of conversation. And this is going to be the first one up is going to be E3 predictions. And so, and all the final results, right? Because Matt and I went head to head for the
Yes.
first time.
The results of the scorecard. Dun,
Yeah,
dun,
result of
dun.
the scorecard. So I'm gonna read this off real quick and mark some of these down as I do so. Ready?
Yep.
And so what we do is for our safe predictions that we did a couple weeks ago, if you listen to that podcast called E3 Scorecard, I decided we'll give 1 point for the safe predictions and 3 points for the crazy. And that'll be easy math for me. I can do 1 and 3 points. Anything beyond that might be too hard for me. I'm also gonna give half points if half of the sentence is true. And so if
Okay.
you look at my first one, for example, I said that we'd see more extended gameplay footage for Rage 2. That's a point,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Doom 2 is teased or announced for early next year. I'm going to give myself, since this is a multi-layered prediction, I'm going to give myself a point there. And then I said that the next Elder Scroll games is announced. And I was right there, but I said for date of next year, that's wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give myself, because it was so layered, I'm going to give myself 2.5 points on that.
Ooh.
Now, the next one I said, Ubisoft announces a gameplay Division 2. That was true. And then I said Splinter Cell. That is not true. So 1 point there. Ghost of Tsushima gets a release date. That is not true. Days Gone got a release date, but that was actually before E3. So that was true. And then Death Stranding, no release date, hints at 2020. They didn't even hint at that. But I don't think that game would come out before then. So,
yeah.
I'm going to give myself, for that whole thing, I'll give myself half a point, I think.
Okay.
For Days Gone, not for the other ones.
Yeah.
Sony announces PSVR will receive updates to include VR mode and previously non-VR games. I don't remember seeing any of that.
Nope.
And some of them will be pushed out to PSVR owners during E3. That is not true also. So 0 points for me on that one.
Yeah, all their VR stuff came pre E3.
Yeah, which I don't understand because they've been trying to push it so hard. It's like they're afraid now, and so now I'm worried about the future of VR. But and then if Cyberpunk,
they also did one right after. I told you, like you left the live stream, but they also premiered that From Software VR release as well.
Yeah, and so I'm not going to count that because, unfortunately, I got squats in that regard during the conference, and certainly they didn't transition new ones into any of that as well.
Yeah.
And then last one was Cyberpunk reveals ton of gameplay and fall release dates. Well, near one of those were true. So again, 0 there. So for normal predictions, that puts me at 3 points. Yeah, 3 points, right? 1, 2, 2.5. Yep, plus a half. So yeah, I gave myself half. Did I give myself half point on the Division 2? No, I didn't. I need to give myself a half point. So that gives me 3.5 points. My apologies. 3.5. So I'm at 3.5 in the regular. So let's take a look at Matt's here. Your normal 3, Rage 2 gameplay, possible release date. Well, they did show gameplay, so I'll give you a
half point
there. EA talks about their support lines. That's a full point. Last of Us gameplay. So you got that right. You didn't get the release date.
I know. So mad about that.
Half point there. Cyberpunk gameplay you also missed. And then Smash.
No, what did they? So
they did reveal gameplay.
It was story trailer, right?
Yeah, it was just on the trailer on the floor. Or, I mean,
yeah.
It
was behind closed doors was the gameplay.
Yeah, and so we're looking at the press conferences, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
Because otherwise we both would have been right there. So Smash Brothers Switch gameplay reveal possible date. Yeah, you got that one. So
one full point there.
I know. And so you got 3 points to my 3.5. So it's going to come down to the crazies. So let's look at the
Ooh.
crazies here.
All
No
right.
Man's Sky comes out for VR on PSVR. Not even close. Goodness, I don't even know what I was thinking there. I mean, I still think it's gonna happen. I just think that Hello or whatever the hell their name is keeping it quiet.
Yeah.
We received a trailer from Software. That is true. It was not Bloodborne 2 though, so I'm gonna give
Yeah.
myself 1.5 out of 3 because
Mhm, mhm,
I
mhm,
definitely got a trailer. We definitely got more than the trailer. We got gameplay too.
mhm.
And then my third one is we received a new trailer. I think I wrote from a new IP for Ubisoft, if I remember correctly. Um, I don't remember them revealing a new IP though. I'm trying
No,
to
yeah, I don't think
think.
it did.
Hold on, let me look real quick at my list here. Division, Beyond Good Evil, Splinter Cell, no, Trials Crashing. Well, they didn't. No, that's not a new IP. Starlink Battle. Uh, Technically, I don't know
Mm,
if you count that as a new IP or not, though.
I don't think it
Because
was because I don't know.
no, you're right. It's not. It's not. No, that was old. Um, so nothing there for me either. So not too
So
good
put you at
there.
what, 5 total?
5 total. So
Ooh,
you're crazy. Devil May
am
Cry.
I gonna win? Am I gonna win by half point?
No, you win by a full point because you were wrong about Game with Batman. You were wrong about Mortal Kombat,
Ugh,
but you
I
did
know.
get Devil May Cry 5,
Boom.
and so that's a full 3 for
Full
you.
3 points.
And so
Oh,
you get beat me by 1 point in the first ever
woohoo!
E3 scorecard.
Hopefully next year we'll be able to do these predictions live from E3.
Yeah, that's my goal.
Right?
That's
I
my
just want to
goal.
go to E3. Report
Oh
the
yeah,
news.
we'll get it.
We'll get it. We'll
We'll
get
get on
there.
it.
Yeah.
Uh, so let's just talk about E3 a little bit here because you know there was a lot going on.
So
I
much
made a
stuff
top
going on.
so much. In fact, I almost wanted to make the argument that I don't really care if E3 exists anymore. Um, but we can talk about that too if we want. But let's just talk about what we really enjoyed because for me, my top reveals or top things that I am so pumped. And I actually tweeted this out the other day on my Twitter at We Are One, You Are Two. Um, my top 10 games, I hadn't made a whole list, but some of the things I'm super excited about. The biggest thing I was excited about was probably Spider-Man 4 or not Spider-Man on PS4. I'm sorry, Spider-Man on
Yeah.
PS4. I can see in the future they're gonna make 4 of these, but uh, Spider-Man PS4 is probably one of my top things, and then The Last of Us 2 really excited me as well. Um, and then I
How
was looking.
gory was that gameplay? Whew.
Oh, how brutal! I mean, it's about this. I saw
Nuts.
Druckmann. Yeah, I saw something about. Um, it's about the cycle of violence. He said.
Yeah.
I thought that was appropriate.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I thought that was really cool and really intense and really exciting. Um, I was actually looking down the list of other stuff that really excited me here. Cyberpunk because I'm a huge Witcher fan. Um, I was a little weirded out at the fact that it's first person, but
Yeah, that is very interesting. That's
I
an
do
interesting
trust.
choice.
Yeah, I do trust CD Projekt Red because apparently you make augmentations to your character in the same way similar to Deus Ex.
Okay.
And what it does is actually changes the way that you perceive or see the world. And so in order to accomplish that, they
They had to
wanted
do
to do
first
first
person.
person.
Huh. That's interesting.
And so I'm really excited about that. Um, I was wondering, we talk about how like, how they talk about open world RPGs and open world being overdone. Do you
Yeah.
think we're being overloaded with Japanese, medieval Japanese folklore? Because we got Sekiro, right? We got Neo 2, we got Ghost of Tsushima. I was looking at my list and like 3 or 4 of my top anticipated games are all medieval Japanese type things, right?
Yeah.
Or settings. And so um we
Neo
went from
2.
yeah, Neo 2. Yeah, I mentioned that one. We went from having none of those to having quite a bit. Like if Assassin's Creed had come out and been like, "Oh, we're doing Assassin's Creed Feudal Japan." I would have been like, because I thought this was gonna be like the battle royale
Yeah.
E3, and in some ways it was less than I think people expected, but it felt more like the feudal Japan or feudal
Mm-hmm.
Asia press conference instead.
Yeah.
So
I have
I
to
mean,
agree
I'm
with that.
excited about all those, but um, and apparently Sekiro is, and I know I'm just rambling about how I love these things, but Sekiro apparently also has none of the depth of Dark Souls. There's no RPG elements in the sense of different, a whole bunch of different weapons and stats. There's no, um, bonfires or save system like that. Apparently, it's very different. It's very much more action adventure oriented. I mean, you can jump. There's a grappling hook. Um,
Is
so it
this an
looks.
Xbox exclusive, or is it just
This is-
they announced it through the
No, they
PlayStation,
announced it
through that
through
through the
Xbox. Yeah,
Microsoft conference? Okay.
it's coming to everything. So,
Yeah.
but I'm very, very excited about that one because it looks like they're going in a very different direction with that, which is cool.
Yeah.
That's actually more like cyberpunk feudal Japan, I guess, since he's got like a prosthetics, some sort of cybernetic prosthetic arm.
Yeah.
So, what about you? What jumped out to you? Because that was the big one that jumped out to me. Control also jumped out to me. I'm super excited to play Inception as a game,
Yes.
or
Oh
or
my gosh.
Sony's answer to Quantum Break, as I've also heard.
Yeah, that Control looked really good, and it's Remedy. So I mean, Remedy, who did the Max Payne games,
That
you
was
know,
Rockstar, wasn't it?
huh?
Rockstar did the Max Payne games, didn't they?
Remedy was involved in at least one of them, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Um, I, let me check this because
Yeah, now you're gonna have to check because.
yeah, the original Max
Oh,
Payne
you're right. You're right.
and
Yeah,
two.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. Okay, Rockstar did a lot of the other ones. That's what I was thinking.
yeah. I think Rockstar did the remake, like
Yeah, they
the
did
redo.
3 and yeah,
But yeah, Remedy was the original and Max Payne 2.
yeah. Okay.
But so like and look at that style, right? Look at that style um of Control, and like look how kind of like you slow things down, and you're kind of like throwing things, and you're like, it's almost like a mix of like the bullet time from Max Payne and Star Wars. That's immediately what I thought when I was watching this trailer. I was like, man, is this another, like, it looks like it could have been a Star Wars, because like she's like just like throwing shit around left and right. And then
Yeah.
it was like, like everything was like slowing down real quick too. I was like, man, this kind of looks like Max Payne a little bit too.
Yeah.
So I
A lot of
like
people.
them.
Oh, go
Sorry,
ahead.
go ahead. I was just gonna say I like that they combine those kind of elements, and it looks, I don't know, it looks really awesome from the trailer that they pushed.
Mm-hmm. And
Um, Good.
I was gonna say it's just a lot of people are comparing it to Alan Wake or Quantum Break, especially Quantum Break because Quantum Break that's what that Microsoft exclusive was you being able to mess with time, and so
Oh, okay.
I think
Yeah,
it's more.
I didn't understand what I mean. Obviously, because I don't have Xbox, I never really looked into Alan Wake or Quantum Break because those were both exclusives.
Yeah, and Quantum Break or Alan Wake, I'm sorry, was more dark and kind of mysterious gameplay, but uh, yeah, Quantum Break was very much about time control, and so
Hmm.
she looks like she's manipulating time and actually space more so than anything too. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm super excited about that.
Sweet. Yeah.
I don't think they got enough attention, to be honest.
Oh yeah. And then of course, I mean, I think I mentioned it on our scorecard thing about how I hope that um, Ubisoft does not push out another Assassin's Creed, but it looks like they're going to, obviously.
Yeah,
But it still looks good. You get to choose male or female character, which is the first time in franchise history, as opposed to like, what was it, Syndicate, where you could be both, right? They were twins, so you had gameplay with both of them, but this is like an actual choice you make in the
right.
beginning of the game. You are, I forgot to write down the names. It's Alexios, and then I forget what the girl's name is. But and then also they're making it more RPG, and in that there's dialogue choices,
Yeah.
which I thought was super interesting as a choice, to see how that kind of affects it and see where that goes with that. So it'll be interesting to see, like, how it's developed from even just Origins, really, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's it's Greece. It's the Peloponnesian War. Is that the right?
I
I think
think
it's the
so,
right war.
yeah.
I think it's the right war. um, but yeah, then there's gonna be there's like ship battle, so they're bringing in a little bit of Black Flag back in there. Not that there wasn't any of that in Origins, but it wasn't really like that. Was more like there was like one like random like DLC or whatever that you got with the game.
Right. Yeah, and I trust you because I actually literally just fired up Origin a couple days ago for like 15 minutes. So
Yeah, for the
that's in my
first time,
backlog.
right?
Yeah, E3 is really good for inspiring me to get to my backlog. That's what I've learned.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. Yeah, so I was super excited about that. What was it? The Trials? Was that what it was called?
Yeah.
What was it? Looked like motocross ish.
Oh, Trials Rising.
Yes.
Yeah, which dude, I free PS Plus this month is Trials Fusion.
Yeah.
When I was sick the other day, I was like, I don't feel like playing anything that requires any level of like concentration.
Yeah.
And I just had a blast with that. I went through like probably the first 16 courses or whatever or levels.
Yeah.
Um,
How? And so that was good. It was good, right?
yeah, I just had a
Yeah. I
ton
really
of
want
fun
to.
with it.
I want to download that because it looked super interesting, and it looked like old kind of like Excite Bike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From the trailer they showed, and like their like little thing was like, was it Crash in Style was like one of their taglines.
Oh yeah, it's just ridiculously fun. Like
Yeah.
it's such a great like I need something that I can't that I, like Neo, you need to concentrate and Resident Evil I was really focused. Even when you and I play Rocket League, it's like we're competitive about it. Whereas this,
Right.
I could crash 5 or 6 times and I would just laugh every time. Or I
Yeah.
would just be like, this is ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
I'm backflipping 8 times through the air, before I
Yeah.
land on this ridiculous like moving platform.
That's
So
sweet. Yeah, that looked pretty cool. I, it was weird because I was watching the press conference and I thought I don't know why, but I thought it was like Clutch Nixon from Far Cry 5. I was like, why
okay.
are they promoting Far Cry 5? Is it just not doing well? There's like, we should probably throw a little bit more money at this, but the gameplay trailer looked pretty sweet actually. So I'm excited to download that free game off of the network. Another surprise for that free game. How about Black Ops 3, man?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really care about Call of Duty. I haven't played one in over 10 years, but
I mean,
I
we said
downloaded it.
that we each said that at the same exact time. We're like, oh, who cares about Black Ops? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's free. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah, we
I
they
mean, I'll
punched
play
I
it for
mean,
free.
oh, I will too. Yeah, absolutely. You kidding me?
Yeah. So, what else? I mean, Cyberpunk. I'm interested. I told you I was watching this video about like what the journalists saw behind closed doors. So I'm interested to like kind of learn more about it. And then of course, The Last of Us was just, it was just so intense, man. I
Mhm.
wonder because that's all they've been showing, right? I wonder how they're going to balance that out. Now they balanced it out in the trailer a little bit, but is that how it shows up in the game? Who knows? You know what I
Right.
mean? Does it actually is this a weird recollection of her? You know what I mean? Is it actually like a little daydream of how she is a badass, or was that just kind of like their narrative for the trailer itself?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but um, I mean, I was shocked that there wasn't any release date or any kind of inkling of that. Which well, not necessarily shocked, but just disappointed because I feel like they've been working on it for a long time, and I just want to play it. It looks so good. It looks super intense, but I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot.
Ghost of Tsushima. I was. I mean, I guess I did actually see like the trailer or the original, like the teaser trailer. I didn't remember that much about it, but I was pretty impressed with that gameplay.
That gameplay is ridiculous.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with that. So I feel like I know that like you were saying before we started recording that like a lot of people on the internet are talking about the Microsoft conference and like Microsoft won E3 this year. I didn't see any of the Microsoft conference. I was unfortunately at work, so I did not get to see it. So I didn't really know what they did. But I really thought Sony did a nice, obviously, except for the stupid intermission in between, which I feel like killed a lot of it, a lot of their momentum. Because I mean, you're
Mhm.
going from Last of Us Part Two, and then you're like literally just sitting there for 5 minutes or five. What was it? 5, maybe 10 minutes,
Mhm.
while they were like going into the other part of the, having seats in a different arena. I mean, I don't know. Didn't make sense exactly, but I thought that was kind of a weird move on their part.
Yeah.
But I mean, what they showed was awesome, and they kept announcing new stuff, even though they're like, "Oh, we're just going to focus on this." So kudos to Sony for lying their butts off and misdirecting people about how it's only going to be like these 4 games that we're talking about.
Yeah, and then they dropped that Resident Evil 2,
Oh my
right?
gosh, yeah, that was nuts.
And so, yeah, I think the reason people felt that way about Microsoft is because they showed that Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which is a prequel to Life is Strange, or ties into that. It is for free starting June 26th.
Hmm.
They did the Metro Exodus trailer with lots of gameplay. They did Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Fallout 76, Ninja Theory, which really bums me out. That made Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah.
Microsoft bought them.
Oh right. Yeah.
So they'll
Yeah.
make, them, and they announced, I think, 4 other studios, if I remember correctly. So they have 5 studios that they are now calling first party studios. And so they finally are kind of getting on the ball where Sony's at. And I think that's probably it has a lot to do with that. I know they announced stuff like Dying Light 2. They announced
Oh, I
Devil May
did see that. Yeah. That.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm excited for that because the way that they looked, the way that looked with your choices and how that really affects the
Mhm.
city is insane, dude. Just like
Yep.
the level of depth that they're putting into that kind of like faction system is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and then let's see what else. Devil May Cry 5, Sekiro was announced there. Sessions, which is kind of like Skate. And then Jump Force was also announced there. Kingdom Hearts 3 was detailed there. Just Cause 4 was detailed there. So there was a ton of games that they announced. I think he said, oh, something like over 50 games announced today, and 15 of them are exclusive. I'm super excited about We Happy Few. And I did read that although Microsoft said that was an exclusive, the developer did say that because they started working on it before Microsoft bought the studio, if I
Yeah,
remember
because that's
correctly.
was that Ninja Theory or was that?
I'm
I thought that's
a
what you said.
little
I thought that's what you said. I thought
fuzzy on that one. I might have said that to you. But either way, it's coming to PlayStation still, and so I'm super pumped about that because that's a game I've had. Oh, Compulsion Games. Sorry, that's who it was. Compulsion Games. Um,
okay.
I'm so pumped about that one. I know it's already out on Steam and it did all right there. I just love that art style, and it looks like a weird ass BioShock. And so I'm all about that. Um, so I'm super pumped for that too. But yeah, I gotta give Xbox credit. They did a lot of great things. Um, Nintendo, announced Smash Bros. And a couple other things as well. So good for them. Um, from what I understand, my nonchalance there.
It was like a nonchalant pat on the back. Good for the little kid.
Well, I wanna Switch, and a lot
I
of
do
indie
too. I
developers we
mean,
speak to talk about how easy it is to get their game from PC to Switch,
you're right.
and so, because you and I don't have, because I have a work PC, I don't have a gaming PC. um, it's, if it doesn't come to PlayStation or something like that, where it's not runnable on my work Mac, I'm kinda screwed there, but,
Right.
um yeah, I mean, I would love to have a Switch and play a lot of indie games too. I think Nintendo just doesn't, other than their few franchises, there are a lot of third parties, and they got some good stuff coming. I mean, I saw Smash Brothers. I saw, they announced, man, I just dropped the name of it, but that's okay. They announced a couple other things as well that were really, Nintendo related that looked cool. Um, they just don't have the same presence. And truthfully too, uh, I don't want to get into this too much, because I want to move on to the Sony and Fortnite thing here shortly, unless there's anything else you want to say. I don't know that I feel like E3 is as necessary anymore because everything that I saw, I was kind of like, "Oh, I could just watch the trailer. I could just go on YouTube and watch this afterwards." Like all the trailers that were dropped and announced. I mean, you know, even with Beth, even with Bethesda, right? Uh,
Bethesda.
Bethesda, damn it. Even with Bethesda, um,
I don't know how you can't get that right. I just don't know what it is about your brain. It's like Bethesda. I can't even say it bad like you say it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute in my brain.
you know what upsets me too? I can never spell the word rhythm, but I mean that's a whole other issue. There's just something in
The
my
English teacher,
brain.
ladies and gentlemen, the English
But
teacher.
Bethesda, if you look at their conference, right? A lot of that was cool, but at the same time, other than Fallout being announced and dropped this year, some of that other stuff I could have dealt with just a trailer or like reading it at a news site. Like I didn't feel the need to see some of that, and so uh, I'm not knocking E3. I think that E3 is outdated in the age of the internet, where if you look at there are roughly, on Twitch, there was roughly 15 to 20,000 people at a time watching the press conferences.
Mhm.
But then when you go to YouTube, there's already 2 to 3 million watches on some of those trailers.
Right.
And so you're actually reaching a bigger audience that way. And um, I don't know, do you need E3 anymore?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that stuff gets leaked nowadays.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to get the jump on developers, which I don't understand why. Is it just like
It's
recognition? Like, oh,
well, it's those
I figured it out, or
it's those clicks, those article clicks.
yeah, I guess, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, it wouldn't be E3 if we didn't have Assassin's Creed leaked ahead of time.
Yeah,
You know?
right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah. So it's like one of those things where like all these things are leaked, and then when you get around to the live stuff, meh, okay.
Yeah.
And I did watch a few live this year, and then I think it was the first time I've actually like watched it live, and it's great. But I I think what I liked about Sony the best was the fact that it was all just trailers. They weren't talking about anything, were they?
No, and Microsoft did a lot of the same too, other than that their Game Pass, they mentioned that,
Yeah,
but they mentioned that in conjunction with some of those games. They were like, "Oh, by the way, this is our new game, and guess what? It's gonna be available day one on Xbox Game Pass, so you don't even have to go out and buy the $59.99 copy. If you have that $15 a month subscription,
yeah.
you get it."
I mean, that Game Pass is pretty smart.
Yeah.
We talked about that with like, what was it on our like, what can Xbox do, right?
Yeah.
Save themselves. I think that's pretty smart. So we'll see how that goes and see like where that takes them.
I think it's picking up a lot of steam, to be honest.
Yeah,
A lot.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, like I mean, I don't know. Like the Bethesda one was fine, but when he was not when he was talking about something I didn't care about, I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, so I
Like I'm
think
not
that
gonna play that Blades game. That does not interest me in the slightest.
here's the other problem I have with E3, and I know we're dragging this out, but honestly, my problem with E3 too is there's just so many damn things announced. I lose track of it all. And
Yeah,
over half of it's not for another year or for another 8 months. And so that's the one thing I appreciate about Bethesda is that Fallout 76, oh, okay, hey, yeah, by the way, 5 months from now, less than 5 months from now, you can have it.
right.
Great. Sign me up. I'm ready. And I didn't need to know about Fallout 76 or need to know that it existed before then. Death Stranding, I am super excited about, but to be honest, I'm going to forget about it for the next 2 years or until next year's E3 when they show us more and tell us, oh, coming in 2021 or whatever it might be.
Right.
So I don't know. And it does E3. I would love to know, does E3 actually impact sales of games? Because there are games out there that, and here's the other thing too about E3, right? It's only great if your game is ready to be shown there. You have so many great games being worked on, and we've interviewed some of those developers over the past couple weeks that are being worked on that you'll never see at E3, but they're really cool. And
Yeah.
so I would rather hear about those, but I can hear about those by interacting on the internet rather than just wasting an hour of my time watching a press conference.
Yeah. No,
So
that
I
makes
don't know.
sense.
I don't know. That's just me. Um, Anything else you want to say about E3, or can we close the book on this one?
I think we can close the book. I'm ready to jump into our other little talk for this
Yeah.
evening.
So let's talk about the big old elephant in the room, or I guess elephant in Sony's studio right now, or Sony's world, and that is this whole Sony Fortnite issue. Now, this all started because Nintendo Switch at their press conference was like, "Hey, by the way, Fortnite is available immediately starting today. 10 a.m. you could download it that day and on your Switch, which is cool. I don't understand how that works unless you have an internet connection, unless you're just playing against bots, but you could do it. People got super excited, especially people who had a PS4 and a Switch. Like, yes, we can take this, we can go on the move, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then boom, they go to log into
Wrong.
their Epic account and it says this Fortnite account is associated with, I'm quoting the login failed screen, with a platform which does not allow to operate on Switch. Neither the Fortnite website nor Epic customer service are able to change this. To play Fortnite on Switch, please create a new account. People are
I
furious.
love how they're like, don't blame us. And also don't call us because we can't do anything about Sony and their BS.
Yeah, and so I love Sony, but I think this is a bad move on their part. Basically, Fortnite is blocked from use on other console versions of the game. And so that is, clearly their unwillingness to allow cross-platform play in the sense of accounts. Now, Sony
But
did release a statement.
I was about to say, okay, yeah, you read the statement.
Yeah, Sony did release a statement that made me laugh a little bit because it says that we do offer cross-play support, quote, with PC, Mac, iOS, and Android devices, expanding the opportunity for Fortnite fans on PS4 to play with even more gamers on other platforms, end quote. Yes, that is true. You can play as long as you're logged into your PlayStation account on your PlayStation, you can play. But you want to take that Epic Games account and use it on a Switch or an Xbox and play cross-platform or cross-play, forget it. If you created it on Sony, you need a separate account.
Well, unless it's Mac or PC or your phone.
No. This is, see, that's where maybe it's a little gray because I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, just speaking from
The
past
wording of
experience, at
that.
least with
Oh, okay.
Rocket League, you can play with people on PC
No. I'm talking about playing with people. I'm talking about like if I took,
using your account.
yeah, I
Yeah,
talked about like if I logged into Fortnite, right? Kind of like you play or something like that. If I logged into, I made an Epic's game account
yeah, no,
on
I understand what you're
PS4.
saying. Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
No,
Yes, I can play with other people, cross-play. Sony's absolutely right. But what they did was they dodged the question there. They said, look, yeah, you can play with other people. What they dodged the question though of was, why can't I take my account and put it on other platforms?
right.
Does that matter?
I don't know. That's the thing. It's happened in the past. I was reading a little article about Rocket League was one of those things, and it just blew over. But is Fortnite the David to Sony's Goliath? Is this the one that finally wins the battle and says to Sony, "Hey, this isn't going away, and we are done with you if you're done with us"?
Yeah. So this is not the first time this has happened. What's funny though is that this is different because this is an actual account, right? That's run by a company. And so they've somehow managed to block Epic's accounts where if they're created on the PlayStation, you can't take them other places. And so what sucks about that is all the progress, the things
Well, I
you
wouldn't say
pay
it's
for.
blocking Epic's accounts. Mine would be through my PlayStation account, my PlayStation ID. So that's a
Right.
PlayStation
It is
property.
a PlayStation account. Yeah, I guess. So I think that's where they're seeing that as they're protecting their property.
Right.
But if I've spent, because it's all cosmetics in Fortnite. If I've
Sure.
spent 50, 60, $70, because I'm sure people have, probably way more than that.
Yeah, the Rocket League was free, and how much money have I put into that?
Oh
Probably
yeah, me too.
150, maybe 200.
Yeah. And so imagine not being able to log into getting a Switch, going, I'm going to play Rocket League, but I want all my stuff from my PS4 that I've purchased, like in terms of like in the game. I want that all because that's associated with your Epic game account as well. So not just Sony, but also your Epic game account, right? Because that's who you're paying is
Yeah.
Epic. I open up the Switch and it's like, sorry, you can't log in using that login name and password because even though it's associated with Epic Games and you've spent $80 on this game so far, you're gonna have to create one from scratch. I would be furious. I can see why people are mad.
Yeah. I mean, I do understand. Um,
That was like losing all your crates in Rocket League, all your
yeah.
banners, all your shit, right? Everything just gone. Sorry, Dave. All of that stuff just gone because, out of nowhere, somebody decides they're not going to let you play nice. And I don't understand why Sony has a problem with this. And I know when it was with Rocket League, they're like, well, we're just trying to protect our players and we're trying to protect like young kids from predators online and whatever other marketing speak they wanted to give.
Sure.
But it's it's a login account. If I go and create a new one, you know, I'm not going to come after you. I don't think I don't think anybody would come after Sony for doing that. They probably come after Epic Games first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think where Sony's not worried about it is that it's just all cosmetics. It's not has
Yeah,
absolutely zero effect on gameplay, right?
that's true. And that is the
So
other side of the argument.
people are still gonna play the game no matter what.
Yeah.
Your progress does not matter now, unless it's like a season pass issue or whatever. Because I don't know. Does that let you do challenges or something like that? Does it not?
Right. Yeah, there's other stuff associated with that, I think. Yeah.
But it's still mostly cosmetic, is it not?
Yeah, 99% of it is. There's nothing that will give you a one up in the game.
Right.
That's why people like it.
Exactly. So that's where I think Sony's mindset is, right? I feel like that's what they're like, well, who gives a crap? This will blow over just like all the other ones. But my thing is, will it?
Right.
I mean, this
Well,
I
this
mean,
game
how
is
many how many
huge.
users does Fortnite have right now?
Over I want to say over 40 or 80 million.
Yeah,
Something
I mean, like
ridiculous.
there's like you know, there's YouTubers that were like, you know, that I would watch for Rocket League. There that have switched over to Fortnite because it's more profitable for them.
125 million
Wow.
as of a day ago.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
That's more than what Sony has sold in PlayStations.
Exactly. So it's just one of those things where maybe this is the David to Sony's Goliath. And I think that maybe they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Oh, they are.
But at the same time, so there's that, right? But maybe it's also one of those things where they're like, well, in 2 years when the new consoles come out, this isn't going to matter.
Well,
And
that's
maybe
the
that's why they're
thing.
not worried about it. They're worried about, they've already sold almost 80 million consoles, right? I don't think they expect to sell, 20 million more. So
Yeah.
I just don't think they're worried about it. I don't think, I'm not saying that they shouldn't be. I mean, I feel like they should be worried about it, but I feel like that they're just not worried about it because come like next year when they announce that, oh, we are making a new system, this will have blown over by then.
Yes, but gamers are fickle people and they don't forget. And if you think about
They are
Sony's
like
PS
elephants in that way.
yes. Sony's PS2 to PS3 era, Sony was rather cocky and arrogant going into the PS3 era. And remember, they charged an absorbent amount of money for that launch, and they had all these, mixed messages stuff, kind of the same way Xbox did with his last generation, right? When
Exactly.
they were cocky about, oh well, we did so great last generation, we're gonna make it online, DRM, and all that stuff, always
Right.
online connectivity.
Yep.
And both times from the PS2 to PS3, and then from Xbox 360 to Xbox One, it's blown up in both companies' faces. And so
Yeah.
I'm afraid that for Sony, this will not be forgotten, and that because especially with a game this size and this magnitude, And what will end up happening is when we go from PS4 to PS5, people will be like, look, I remember what you did, and I want the game. If I'm going to be able to play with my friends online, we're all going to have, regardless of, we're all going to have Xboxes because clearly we can't have a mix of the two because we can't play with each other.
Yeah.
And so, and this brings you to a point that I think you were talking about earlier, with so many games being social and online connected. We were talking about this off air, and games being, what's the word I'm looking for? Just drawn together, right? Um, in a social space now where they're online multiplayer. Since that's only going to grow with the next generation, I guarantee people will want something where they can mix with as many people or many of their friends as possible.
Yeah. Well,
So
the one thing that may be good that comes of this is if it does blow up in Sony's face, maybe then they're forced to allow crossplay with everything.
yeah,
Maybe that's the concession they have to finally make, because I mean everyone else doesn't give a crap, I don't think, right? Nintendo
right.
doesn't care, Microsoft doesn't care. It's Sony is the one that's like, no, we want our people to be our people. We don't want to have them to cross play with Xbox or whatever. And I'm sure they'll give a million excuses about software and the user interface and all that kind of bull crap. But it's just them being greedy about it, right?
Yeah,
Because if they offer more choices, it's that it's their fear that they're going to that someone's going to choose Microsoft or someone's going to choose Nintendo,
right.
and it's that fear that's going to, I think, screw them over in the end.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. But I mean, because if it works out in the community's favor that it blows up in Sony's face, so be it.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, if it's
Yeah,
still going on, we could probably talk to Katie about it too, because she's a big Fortniter, right?
she's been playing Fortnite. Yeah, she's been playing through all of Life is Strange right now, and we're gonna have her next week. We're recording an episode with her to go up the week after, and so Katie Bentz from Life is Strange. You might know her from that, and she's certainly a Twitch regular Twitch streamer at this point as well. She's actually endorsed, or what's the word I'm looking for on Twitch? Verified,
Sponsored? Oh, verified.
verified Twitch partner. So uh, we'll talk to her certainly. I think about that next week and see what she thinks as well. Uh, my final just thought on that is that regardless of what Sony thinks they're doing, it's the perception, right,
Yeah,
that matters. And so right now, the perception is that they're going about it the wrong way, even if they are doing the right thing. Like, we may see later on down the road that this was a smart move on their part, or that they understood something we didn't. But for right now, people are looking at it and going, this isn't how I want this to work. I love Fortnite, and if I want to take all my progress I've made on PS4 and move it over to my Switch in terms of all the stuff I purchased, um, that's an unfortunate thing for them. And so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I just think it's ridiculous, but unfortunately, I do see also too where Sony's coming from. I just think they're not as clear or transparent about it as they could be. That they are probably trying to protect their players, protect their investment, and maybe since it is all. I thought you brought up a really good point. Since it all is cosmetic, who cares?
yeah.
You know, if it's not affecting your gameplay, who cares? But then
Right.
again, on the other hand, you know, is that fair to say? Who cares that somebody spent $100 on cosmetic stuff? You know.
I mean, my answer is yes.
And
I
so
mean,
that's
because
where I
here's the
would.
thing. Uh, you know how huge I am at Rocket League, right? And
Yeah,
how much I enjoy it. But I mean, I do enjoy the cosmetic stuff of it. But if for some reason I couldn't have that, but I still got to play Rocket League in a different way or more often with a different system, I would do it.
yeah,
That would not stop me. And I feel like that's the way that's Sony's thinking right now. It's like, well, it's not going to stop people from playing Fortnite. People aren't just going to be like, oh, well, we're not going to play Fortnite anymore. No, it's not going to
Yeah.
happen. 125 million people are not going to be like, all of a sudden, like, oh, well, I'm not going to play this game because I can't look like freaking Thor or, whatever. The knockoff Thor. Because, I mean, that's really what that dude looks like, right? I mean, he's the knockoff
Right.
Thor. So I just don't think. I don't know. I understand where you're like gamers are fickle and they won't necessarily forget this, but I don't think right now it'll matter.
Yeah.
It's certainly not going to affect Epic Games and Fortnite.
No, not at all. In fact, not at all. Not one bit. So, all right. Well, we'll see what happens, and we'll continue to monitor this as it unfolds. And by the time we record next week, there'll be plenty of days in between here, at least 4 or 5 days in between. I guarantee plenty will unfold between now and then.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, otherwise, I'm not gonna lie, totally, totally loved Sony and E3 as a whole. I just again don't think it's necessary. It's do we really need, I'll go back to that point earlier. Do we really need that much?
Right.
So, at one time. All right. That's all I've got for that two stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Two little items there. Now,
I'll
Matt,
put my 2 cents in.
yeah, that was great conversation.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. We normally like to do PlayStation blog in the drop.
There's no drop.
There's no
I
drop.
just looked it up. Yeah, I just looked it up and I was like, oh.
Everyone was terrified
Okay.
of E3 this week, and I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Because you totally would get ignored.
Yeah.
And so if you're looking for something new to play during E3, do what I did. Go to your backlog.
Yep.
Or, pick up Vampire because it just came out last week. I think
See, that's where I think that you should love E3 because it's backlog week for you.
it is, yeah. Well, summer's backlog week time for me because
That's true.
usually a whole lot doesn't come out in the summer.
Yeah.
And I'm finally off of work so I can concentrate on making stuff for you guys.
As opposed to neglecting his students, which he normally does.
Yeah, I don't neglect them. I ignore them. There's a difference.
Okay, yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
It's an active choice.
Yes. Well, neglect also suggests that I don't care. I care. I just choose to pretend like they're not there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's a difference. No, I'm kidding. I don't ignore my students. Don't send anyone after me. All right. So yeah, there's no drop. So whatever, that's fine. We have no community shout out because I haven't reached out to anyone. We have no indie developer to interview this week.
Oh,
if you are one, though, we'd love to talk to you. In fact, I really would love to get, and I thought their press conference, just touch on this real quick. I thought Limited Run Games did an awesome press conference. They announced a bunch of rare physical games coming. Our We Are One, You Are Two Games.com website actually has a list of that presser and all the games that they announced that are coming to physical copies of PlayStation, Vita, and Switch. And so those digital only games that you might be afraid of having disappear once they get pulled off the store or something could happen and you want a physical copy. Limited Run Games had a great press conference where they announced a lot of really cool stuff that's coming that they were managed to work out with publishers. So
cool.
So yeah, that's really it. And,
wait, did you say we have a website?
We do.
Oh.
It's we are one UR2 games.com. I try to update it somewhat regularly. With E3 this week, I try to get as much up as I can, but I am only one man. We are a 2-man team. And Matt works right now and I don't. So I am only one man. There was a lot to cover for one person. I now understand why IGN and GameSpot and everybody else has a team of like at least 9 or 10 people covering it because
yeah,
good
exactly.
Lord, to type that all out and put all the trailers up myself, I definitely missed a conference or two. I got Sony up there. I got Bethesda up there. I got I didn't get Ubisoft yet. I didn't get Switch. I didn't get Xbox.
I'll have to get you the rest of the Ubisoft one.
Yeah, we'll get it all up there so you can check it out, all the trailers and stuff like that. We're working on it. What would help us though if you could go over to Patreon as well and check us out there. We have some tier rewards and some really cool stuff. And Matt, I actually got a T-shirt last week with our logo on it, and so
What?
yeah, it was pretty cool. It was an anniversary gift, so I appreciate that. But if you like it, go to my Instagram and check it out. I snapped a picture and threw it up there. Check it out, and if you like it, and you
It
want,
may become a reward.
it actually, I do have it listed under one of the rewards. Um, but we would love to lower the entry amount for that award so you could still get that shirt. But we need the funds for it first because shirts aren't cheap. Neither is maintaining the website either. All right. That's it. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week with Katie Bentz. I'm going to get Natalie Rowers from Sense Cyberpunk Story. That's the Kickstarter that we spoke with a couple of weeks ago, Ben Widdowson, which thank you guys for supporting that. They made 600% of their funding goal. They
That's
raised
crazy,
over
dude. That's nuts.
$50,000 for that game, and so that game is getting physical copies, getting all kinds of crazy stuff. And so congrats to him. Relentless Rex and Kevin Wins also some success there. Transmogrify is currently going on. So is Final Equinox, The Arrival. So go check both of those out and help those guys get there as well. And like I said, we're gonna have I got off on a tangent there, but we're gonna have Natalie Rowers that she's gonna be the voice in there in that game. She's going to do that. She also, Matt, voiced another video game as well back a couple years ago. Well, not even a couple years ago. I guess it was maybe a year and a half ago as well. And so she's not a stranger to the video game world. She's done that as well. So um, she's done some voiceover stuff for that as well. So we'll talk to her
Cool.
though in the future.
Yeah.
So good stuff. All right.
Sweet.
That's all I
I
got.
think that's it. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. And until next time, my friends, game on.
Game on. This is the outro music for this week. It's going to be short because my voice hurts.
Yeah. All right.
Man, I was having some throaty issues.
I know. I've been hacking up a lung in case you couldn't tell. I was trying to figure out what the hell Natalie Rowers was in. I forgot the name of that game, and I'm on her website, and I can't find the damn.
Oh, you jerk face.
The hell was she in?
What was that? What was the other one? Final Equinox and what?
Transmogrify.
Oh, Transmogrify. That's right.
Where is it here? She doesn't have it listed, which I think is so weird. It was a game that I had checked out. What the hell? Where is it? Maybe if I go to IMDb, it'll have it. Oh, I guess we're still on air. Let me stop this broadcast.